Megan, I'm going to put out video a few exercises that'll help you kind of kickstart, where we want you when you come in summer 2. This summer, I think around middle of July. A lot of it's going to be movement based to try to open up your hips a little bit, help you with lateral movements, being explosive, a lot of single arm drivers, different things like that. So I'm going to take you through about 5 or 6 different exercises just to get you started. And then in a couple weeks, once you get familiar with those things, I'll make some tweaks to it. And then add a few more things as you get more comfortable with the way we train. So, and I understand your brother's going to help, so maybe he can help kind of guide you through this as well. So, if you have any questions at any point, feel free to give me a call or Coach Keisha a call, and then we'll kind of coordinate, how to communicate back with you. So, the first one we're going to do is just going to be a simple step up. So, initially, I would just start without weights whatsoever, just do body weight. And just start just an arm driver. So nice and simple, but everything we do is going back to the game of basketball and all the movements we would like you to do as a post player. So the first one is just going to be a single leg, arm driver, drive it up, come down to the ground, right back up. Explode to the box every single time. And then switch legs. You're going to do about 8 to 10 reps each leg. Remember, push to the box, be explosive, control it down so we get maximal muscle build and fiber breakdown, things like that. To tweak that, the first phase, you can't add weight. We're going to go straight from the shoulder. So you're going to go from here, you're going to press as you step to the box, explode, control it down, and then switch legs. If you want, we can also go a little bit lighter weight. We'll go 10, 15, 20 pounds, and we can add curl to press. So we would start here, start with one foot in the box, curl, and press. And then switch legs. But the way we train, we like to make sure that everything is in coordination, so we're not just going to isolate a certain body part. We won't just hit lower body or upper body on any particular day. We're going to hit everything together. So a lot of the movements we do are going to be compound movements, incorporating all the joints into one movement, like a squat, curl to press, which will be our next movement here. So taking the box out of it, now we're going to work on a little bit of depth, work a little bit of glute and hamstring as well, adding in the curl to press. So we'll get down as low as we can, explode up, and curl to press. And again, we're shooting for, just for the first phase, about 8 to 12 reps and all that, 3 or 4 sets. And just kind of build from there. Okay, pause. All right, so this is the next couple movements here. So we call it a common lunge and uncommon lunge. So it actually is 3 different movements per exercise. So the common lunge is going to be a forward lunge, lateral lunge, and a transverse. So 33% of your game as a post player is going to be in the transverse plane. A lot of rotation, a lot of rotational step, and then going up for a rebound, back. To work your hips, to try to get you a little bit more mobility through your hip flexor. What we're going to do is start with the common lunge. We're first going to just go forward, get nice and low, make sure you get good depth, make sure that you get your hip flexor on the back leg elongated. So we're just going to go 3 to 4 reps. Make sure you do overhead press simultaneously. It's not going to be a lunge and then press. We're going to make sure everything is syncing up for the first phase here. In the second movement, we're just going to go lateral. Make sure you lean back on your heel. I don't want you leaning forward and just driving your hip and knee. I want you to sit back, make sure it's a good raise overhead, 3 to 4 reps there. Then the third one, we're going to do transverse. It's going to rotate here, get nice and low, make sure you point the toe in the direction you want to go, big overhead reach. Okay, this is going to be your big limiting one, okay, because it's going to be a ton of hip flexor, a lot of abductor, adductor work, and so that's common lunge. So the other one that's basketball specific for you is going to be the uncommon lunge. So again, with the med ball press overhead, we're going to go uncommon lunge. We're going to go cross over, cross under, and straight back. So we're going to go here and reach overhead, and make sure that that back foot isn't pivoting. Okay, we want to keep it. If you put a tape mark and a cross on the floor, it's probably going to help a little bit. We don't want the back foot to pivot. That just turns it into a front lunge. So we keep it there. The heel can come off, but go straight overhead, get nice and low. Again, we're loading to explode, so as you get your depth, as you get comfortable with it, you're going to want to explode out of it as fast as possible. Okay, that's where we really get you basketball specific with that movement. So then we're going to go cross under, Across here, it's going to take some time to get some control, especially as you raise overhead. And then straight back. Okay? And again, for the first phase, it's just an overhead reach. We will add a ton of different arm drivers. We'll do it with rotation in the next segment I send you. So for that, that's the first 3 movements. Do is the barbell back lunge. You can do it with a couple different holds, though. You can put it across your shoulders if you feel comfortable with the back squat. If you prefer the front squat and just grip in the front across your delts, that's fine also. I like this one. It keeps my front shin, my anterior tib, a little bit more vertical as opposed to the back. But if you feel more comfortable with the back, that's fine. So I will get set here, step out of the rack, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get as long as possible with my back leg, get down, slight touch my knee, and I'm exploding up. Okay? Control it down, explode up. Okay? You really want to drive that back leg back to neutral. Okay? So it's just like, basically you running, we want to drive, it's a reflex off the floor, we're exploding as much as possible. So I'll do the other leg real quick. Again, just get long, explode up to neutral, really work the hip. So we're getting a little bit of hip mobility as well as explosive movement at the same time, working on strength. So single leg strength, which ultimately is, we want to be able to teach you how to run efficiently. So that's why we're not bilateral squatting right now with the barbell. All right, Megan, the next movement we're going to do is a little bit of upper body. The first one's going to be a dumbbell bench. The second one is going to be our shoulder matrix. So first, dumbbell bench. Again, grab weight that you're going to be able to do 10 to 12 times. Nothing really exceeding that because it's going to be too light, nothing under that because you're probably going to fail on it. So we want you to be successful in all of these movements that I'm showing you today. So the first one we're going to do, dumbbell bench, laying on your back. Again, I'm not a huge fan of laying down to do exercises because it's not how you play. However, we do need to develop your upper body. And we kind of will be getting away, once you come to campus, getting away from the barbell bench. So with dumbbells, we have a few more options in terms of speed and the different different options. So the first one is going to be pretty typical. Just going to come down, nice and controlled, explode out. 8 to 10 reps. The second one, the second variation, is just working one arm. So one scapula is retracted while the other one is working. And then switch arms. And then you can also alternate. But one is always extended. So those 3 different variations that we typically will do throughout the year. Megan, as part of our warm-up, what we'll do is the shoulder matrix. So we'll do 3 reps of each in an effort to gain a little bit of strength as well as shoulder mobility. All of these will go back to, obviously, different movements you'll do in the game of basketball, rebounds, post moves, whatever it may be. But we'll do, like I said, 3 reps of each, and we're going to try to gain as much range of motion as possible on these. So the first one, you're going to start with the dumbbells here. You're going to dip down on every single rep. So you're going to slight quarter squat, dip and explode, and reaching back. Okay? And notice my elbows are not bent at 90 degrees. We want as much extension as possible. The next one is going to be laterally across the head. So we're going to drive our hip in the opposite direction. So we're going to dip, drive. And then we'll go dumbbell hip extension. So we'll start with the dumbbells down this time and let everything rotate. Your hips, your knees, everything's going to rotate while keeping your feet planted on the floor. So we're going to start here, get a big extension. Okay, this is just like reaching back for a rebound. So we want as much extension as possible. Nice and controlled. Learn to decelerate the weight at the top and bring it back to neutral. And then we'll go belly rotation. So try to open up the thoracic spine. And then we'll do some pressing as well. So dumbbells back at the shoulders, dip, punch across the body as you rotate. Really reach for it, try to stretch. Close to your dome. Get good thoracic spine rotation. All right, another part of movement prep that we do to eliminate or try to minimize the likelihood of injury to the ankles, and as part of our ACL prevention and development. we call it the jump matrix. So what we're going to do is we're going to have different foot patterns, but we're going to start with 2 to 2 feet. So you're going to start in the middle. If you look at the jump matrix here, easy to set up. Just 4-foot tape marks, on the gym floor, in your garage, wherever you're going to do it. But we're going to challenge your threshold here. Okay, so we'll have different tweaks. Either it be for speed, it can be for height. We can add rotation. We can add different arm drivers, eyes closed, 1,000 different things. But the very basic movement is just forward facing at all times for height. So what the height does is it allows us to be able to react in the air and manipulate our body so we're successful to land it. Okay, and the landing is really the most important part here. Being able to decelerate your body weight and explode out. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to jump up as high as we can, being able to land on the ball of your foot. And I don't want you to rock back to your heels. I don't want you to take a second step or anything like that. If you're not successful, then do it again. So we're going to come up, jump as high as we can, land on the ball of your foot, and then jump back to the middle. Then we'll go up to the next angulation. And we're going to go clockwise all the way around. And the first couple times you do this, I want to pause, so then your ankle has time to react. You can build coordination and balance. And then that way you can be successful as we get more technical. So you will jump backwards. Notice the pause on every single one. And then you go counterclockwise. So the second one you'll do is 2 feet to 1 foot. So it's 2 feet starting in the middle, jumping to 1 foot. This will take a lot of balance, so really make sure your pause is appropriate length of time here. And we're jumping off 1 foot, back to middle. And if you're not failing every 3 to 5 times, then you're probably not challenging yourself. And that is fatiguing, to be able to have to land your body weight on one leg and get out. And the last one is going to be 1 foot to 1 foot. So I'll go the opposite direction, counterclockwise on my left foot. So stand, get your balance in the middle, explode out. Then again, pausing, challenging your height. So you notice I failed there. And that's exactly what we want, because once you start to fatigue, something is going to give. Whether it's the quad, the hamstring, one of the joints, whether it's ankle or knee or hip. So you can throw it in at different points of your exercise routine as well as your training program. So it can be at the beginning, it can be in the middle after you've done squats or lunges or something like that. Once you've fatigued yourself, or at the very end. As you can tell, obviously it is a little challenging and will challenge your cardio threshold. All right, Megan, last one. I think I've thrown enough at you to try to kind of conquer until I throw 5 or 6 more at you, but that'll give you a good starting point. So the last one I'm going to do is a single leg, 1-arm row. So we have a lower body movement in this one as well as an upper body pull. So I realize I haven't put a ton of pulls in, but we will, I'll start throwing some more upper body stuff at you as well, because I know. And if you have a rack like this at school, that's great. If not, you just use a bench to prop yourself up on, or some other object about waist height. So we're going to start with the dumbbell in the right hand, and you want your back to be pretty parallel with the floor. Okay, and then left leg will be up in the air. As we bring the dumbbell, up and pull it, my left leg is also going to drive as if we were running. Okay, because this is our running motion. Just going to drive it up, just roll it down, explode it every single time. Okay, and with this, you're going to get some thoracic spine rotation, which is exactly what we want, because that's how you run. Switch legs. Again, driving up every time. We're going for quality reps over quantity at this point. Just make sure you groove those patterns and those different movements that we want you to get. You'll be in great shape when you come back. Cardio-wise, I know Keisha has talked to you a little bit about cardio and what the expectation is there. You can work on Kansas 22s, down and backs, Elite 8s. You can do Titan 4s. Most of this stuff is on our website. If you go to our YouTube page, Titan Strength 1, Most of those videos will be there for you to access. So if you have questions, feel free to give myself or Keisha a call. Thanks.